trying every way I can. I'm changing. I'll be so much better than I am. I'm a try.
Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. I'm at 54 Below, Broadway's Glorious Supper Club, which is also the recipient of the 2022 Tony Awards honor for excellence in the theater. And I'm here with a very special guest. You know her from her iconic Tony Award-winning role of Effie from the hit musical Dreamgirls. Other musicals include Your Arms Too Short to Box with God, Grease, Chicago, and The Color Purple. She was also a two-time Grammy Award winner as a recording artist. And from February 21st through the 26th, she'll be making her 54 Below Diamond Series debut. Please welcome Jennifer Holliday.
I know it's gonna work out this time. Yes, it is. 'Cause this time I am. This time I changing. I'll get my life together now. I am changing. Oh yes, you know I know how.
I am thrilled to be sitting with you here in one of the dressing rooms here at 54 Below. First off, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much. And I am just so happy to be with you in person. We had a wonderful time during COVID. You and I, we did a lengthier interview. And it's just so nice to meet you. And I just thank you so much, really.
You have brought so much joy to so many people, and you're about to make your 54 Below Diamond Series debut. How excited are you?
I'm very excited because the Diamond Series is something very unique and special. It gives, my fans a chance to have a more intimate and up-close experience. And also, a lot of my Broadway fans have never seen me live in concert. They've only seen me in a Broadway show so this is, it's just so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it like playing 54 Below?
Well, this will be my second time. The very first time I played was almost 10 years ago, December of 2013. Now, that was a shorter show because they have lots of shows each night. So usually they have a 9:30 show. So that particular time I was there, it had to be a hard, clean 70 minutes off the stage, that kind of thing. This time with the Diamond Series, it's a longer show because there's nothing playing after me, so I can take my time, really allow myself to just be more personal with the audience, and I can let them just absorb all of the songs and not be worried about being on a strict time limit. Yeah.
No, because that's what's great about the Diamond Series. I mean, the guests are met at the door, like a fabulous supper club.
Yes.
You're met with champagne or prosecco.
Yes.
And it's a curated 4-course dinner that is stretched out so comfortably.
Yes.
And then you get to meet the artist.
Yes.
Where you do this incredible show.
Yes.
Okay, so you're a sextet? How many people in your band?
I have
your
a
orchestra?
septet.
Ooh,
I added one, 7 musicians, and because I kept thinking about it, like I said, we said that supper club, that old, we don't have that anymore, where, I don't know if you watched any of those old movies on the Turner Classic Network or something like that. They didn't go out till late, you know what I'm saying? No. And to go out after a Broadway show was the thing, to a supper club. That's the word supper. And they would have a show. And a lot of people who were on those shows would perform. So that's what it feels like to me, that this is a kind of return to something like that,
See, that's what 54 Below does.
Yes.
It's a glorious supper club, a throwback to another time.
Yes.
And it's also been named Broadway's Living Room.
Yeah.
So what's it like playing here? Yeah.
Well, I think that I don't do cabaret, or a lot of cabaret houses. And so to me, if this is more of upscale cabaret, meaning that you feel like you're in one of those smaller Broadway houses, Vegas venues. If you go to Vegas a lot, they have all these different, the main showroom, then they have all these showrooms, and that's what it feels like to me. And a Broadway audience also is just like no other, because they know you and your journey. They know what it takes to do 8 performances a week when they're looking at you and say, oh my God, this woman has brought us here, and 44 years now I've been in show business. A lot of people don't know Dreamgirls was actually 41 years ago when it opened on Broadway. And I'm 62 years old, and I don't know, I went into my 60s kind of kicking and screaming, but I do feel that this might be one of the best decades for my career. I've been rediscovered through social media. These young people have revived my career and have brought me forth, and I don't know if that's because they've just been searching for more authentic performers and realness and getting in touch with that, or how to perform. I don't know, So it's I just want to bring all of that to this experience.
So what can the fans expect? I know you love like Gershwin and Duke Ellington, because you won one of your Grammys for Duke Ellington, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. I think that what I'm going to do, and this, I keep thinking about the show and what I want to do, because when it was originally, when they called me, was before the pandemic. They said, we're thinking about doing a Diamond series, and we would like to include me, and that was way before the pandemic. Then the pandemic hit. So now for me, I feel that as most of us, the pandemic made us search more for meaning, that things we take in or experience have more meaning to it. So I want to make sure that the songs, yes, are great songs, but that they're personal to me, to where I am in my life right now, in my career, and how I want to move forward. So the show will just have more elements of songs that I feel pertain to where I am at this stage in my life, and of course we'll include, got to include Dreamgirls, and then they'll tell you, so Broadway, and then there'll be love songs, being this close to Valentine's Day, so there'll be some love songs, but mostly I'm going to call them life songs, because that's kind of where I am right now, is if I've got to sing, and I think I want to make sure that it's meaningful. I want to have fun too, and I want not to burden my audience with like, oh my gosh, she's telling us a story, and she's blah 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 blah. But I do want to. I have a lot to say inside of me, so I don't want to just sing, but I would like to say that. So this series allows me to do that.
Because everyone who's done this, that's what they do in this series.
Yes.
Everyone's going to really get to know who Jennifer Holliday is.
And that's what I want, yes.
And you don't always get that in a 70-minute show.
No, because we're on a time, you're on a timeline, you got to keep it moving, you don't want to, step and stuff because someone else has to come after you. And so, but this way we get to take our time, get to really delve into who we are as a person and as an artist, because it's like you already know I can sing, you already know what I could do, but a lot of people don't know a lot about me, and I just, like I said, I really want the show to be reflective of where I am right now in my life and in my career.
You have been an inspiration to so many people around the world, and like you said, you reached a lot of people during the pandemic through your songs.
Yes.
And I want to talk specifically about Dreamgirls. Dreamgirls was life-changing for me. I remember everything about the first time I walked into the Imperial Theater. I remember everything about that first night of watching you make magic on stage as Effie White.
Thank you.
What did Dreamgirls mean to you then, and what does Dreamgirls mean to you now, specifically that song?
Well, at the time when I did Dreamgirls, a lot of people don't realize that I was just becoming a young lady. I turned every birthday in Dreamgirls. I turned 20, 21, all the way up. And so the show, when you're putting together a show, you kind of do want to know that you have a hit or you're on the verge of something. But we really didn't know what we had, and nor were we concerned about that. It was all of us six principals, got a chance to add our own selves to the role of what we could. So back then, in doing Effie, I wasn't really like, okay, I'm doing this because 40 years later it's going to be a history or any, I didn't know that, and I didn't know a lot about life, especially at 20 years old. I won my Tony Award at 21. I had just turned 21. So I didn't know about life. I didn't know about love. And it was just a lot. We did a workshop of it. We did out-of-town tryouts. So it was a lot getting to the journey to do it. So some things get lost in it. But now it means so much to me because it has become something that, like you said, not only young women, young girls, but men, anyone who wants to do theater or anything, it has really touched lives and changed lives. And so now it has a greater sense of pride and one of those things where you say, okay, all of that hard work was worth it. Not just because I'm a star, but because it has lived so long and we created something that will live beyond all of us and will still feed into people's lives and change them and give them the desire to do theater,
But then you get a song like, and I'm telling you I'm not going, it's an anthem. It's been an anthem for you, it's been an anthem for who you sing to, and it just must be so great when you do that live in front of an audience, and how exciting it's going to be here to do it here at 54 Below.
Yeah, it's the song, of course, has a life of its own, and it has different meaning to every person who has heard it, and the difference between now and 41 years ago also is that we didn't have all of these, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have, so everything was word of mouth. You had to go there to experience it, it's not like you can, watch it or shoot it out or tweet it or anything like that. So it's something that I feel that a lot of people say this to me, and I don't know, they say, well, this was almost as if I got a chance to see you in the show. So I don't know how they do that, but in their mind, a lot of people come in and say, oh, I never saw Dreamgirls, but seeing you, hearing you live, do it live, made me feel like I got to see the show. So,
you're going to blow the roof off of 54 Below. You know that. When you're here, it's going to happen.
Thank you. Well, there'll still be a roof.
Oh, yeah, totally. You always return to the theater. You always return to Broadway. You've given us so many incredible roles. Your Arms Too Short, To Box with God. You did Grease. You did Mama Morton in Chicago. How much fun was Chicago to do?
Chicago was so fun to do. I had reprieved my role. I had done it in 2000. And it's like, I don't know, something about that character. Everybody loves that character, And so it was really great to make a return in it and just, have a lot of fun. It's one of those those shows I think that will also just, be around forever. But everybody loves Mama Morton for sure,
And then there's your brilliant portrayal of Suge in The Color Purple, because you and I spoke about this before.
Thank you.
You delved into that so beautifully.
That was one of playing Suge Avery in 2016 on Broadway was one of the hardest things that I had ever done. Number one, I was the oldest Suge Avery that they had. Yeah, and I had to audition for the director because of my age, because the cast was a young cast. It was pretty much 20-something, 30 years older than everyone, especially, Cynthia Erivo, way over her age. And so I had to audition, and so once we got that, and then the director agreed to work with me to try to create a Suge that was not embarrassing. It's like, okay, she's trying to be a sex symbol, she's over 50, she's, older than everybody else. How do we make this come apart? So he really taught me a lot. I learned so much about as an actress, and watching Cynthia Erivo and her level of excellence every night, for 8 shows a week. Just watching that really helped me up my game, as an actress. And so that's going to be an experience that I'm never going to forget. Never going to forget.
Because the director you're talking about is the great John Doyle.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, and it was just, I was very grateful that he took the time to work with me, because even though I did want the role, I wanted to make sure that, number one, I brought what he needed to it. So I didn't want to just say, oh, well, just put me in. So we started way, way ahead of time with working with me to create a Suge, that was mature, but then yet, still sexy and still that could fit in with the rest of the cast. So I'm so grateful to him for, saying yes to me after I auditioned, and more so for him working with me, for a month of helping me to get to the role,
Because that's very rare. Very rarely does an original director come back to work with someone, but that's what John Doyle does.
Yes, he invested in me and invested in the integrity of his work as well, and I just was so grateful. I just really was. It was an experience I'm never going to forget that out of all the things that I've done, because that took a growth. I mean, I was not as good on opening night because it was still awkward, but I grew from everything that he taught me and from watching them. And like I said, working with Cynthia Erivo, that level of excellence in acting, that brought me to a whole nother level. So by the time, that I was, 3 weeks into the role, I just felt, oh my God, I have grown so much as an actress.
Well, I have to tell you, I was there at your first performance.
Really?
I saw you twice in this. You were flawless
Thank you.
on opening night,
Thank
and you were just as flawless as you went along in the ride.
Thank you so much.
I know artists look at themselves differently when they're starting somewhere. They're like, oh my God, this is my first night doing this, right? But no, you were sensational.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're one of those artists who live inside the music and the lyrics. It's that perfect combination of artist and material. And I was wondering, when you were growing up, who were your inspirational voices? Who were those artists that you listened to that you were like, oh my gosh, maybe I can do this?
Well, when I was growing up, I didn't aspire to be a singer. I did sing in the Baptist Church choir down in Houston, Texas. So, gospel music was the first music that I was introduced to. And then I would have to say Aretha Franklin would be my all-time greatest influence, because, we knew her in our home, in terms of just the music was a part of our lives, of every black family probably across America in that time, and others as well. So I definitely did that. And then when I got on Broadway working with Dreamgirls, then I was introduced to Barbra Streisand. And so when Michael Bennett first started working with me, he said, okay, I want you to listen to some Barbara Streisand. I want you to look at her tapes because he wanted me to. He didn't want me to have an acting coach, and so he did the work himself. And so he said, I want you to learn about how you tell a story through songs. So I want you to watch some of these, brought all these VHS tapes of movie musicals, and and definitely they included Streisand. And he says, I want you to listen, and watch how her eyes move, hand coordination, things like that, because you're telling a story through song. So it has to say a lot of things because it may connect the story and it connects the scenes. So you have to understand about that. And so I was like, well, who is Barbara Streisand? He was like, you don't know who Barbara Streisand is? I was like, well, do she know Aretha Franklin? Because I don't know who is Barbara Streisand, honey? I'd never heard of her. But once I did, watching her over and over, I learned so much. And then she is the reason why I hold my notes so long, because I was so impressed. And I was like, how is she holding a note that long? I was like, and I would just teach myself, and I was like, so I was able to incorporate that into, and I'm telling you, I'm not going. And I asked Michael Bennett, could I put that in, and I'm telling you, I'm not going. And he was like, okay, well, how would it work? I said, I don't know. And so we just played around with it. So that's the thing of holding a note too long, and I am changing, and the others just holding. I kind of stole that from her, and incorporated it into my own style of singing.
Yeah. I have to ask you about Michael Bennett. He was one of the greatest director choreographers ever. And he took you from, like you said, a raw talent and worked with you. Looking back at Michael Bennett, what did you enjoy the most about working with him?
Well, I would say that working with Michael Bennett was something new and amazing because my very first show, Your Arms Too Short to Box with God, I also had an amazing director then, Vanette Carroll, but I didn't have any speaking lines in that show. Everything was done with me singing. And so Michael Bennett, when he asked me to be a part of the workshop, and he said that he would take responsibility for teaching me about acting and about everything. I don't know, I just learned so much. But the greatest thing that he gave me was a love for theater, because he loved the theater so much. So he would take me to shows. So he was like, okay, you see the difference about this particular show, or he would say, that particular actress, the decision or whatever like that. And then he was also, I'm not going to spill anything, but he was also a ghost director for a lot of shows. And in terms of when they would get in trouble, he would help them and stuff. So he would take me on that well too, and he would be like, did you understand where that's going? How this is going? So he taught me about theater and how to love it, why it's so important, why he loved it so, and that didn't matter that he was wealthy or award-winning or whatever. He actually loved it, and that spilled over into me.
When I was a little girl, I had a rag doll, the only doll I've ever owned. And now I love you just as much as I love that rag doll. Only now my love has grown, and it goes stronger in every way, and it grows deeper, let me say, and it goes higher day by day. And I love you, my oh my, river deep, mountain high, yeah. And if I lost you, would I cry? How I love you, baby, 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 baby.
Finally, what are you looking forward to the most with playing the Diamond series here at 54 Below?
I'm looking forward to playing the Diamond series, and I think that what I'm expecting to get out of it from the most is how my audience would like to see me in the future. I really do. So if I return to Broadway, what type of role would I return to? I had someone earlier, someone I didn't even know, he made a couple of suggestions about, a couple of shows and stuff. So I think that I'm looking for, and this probably will be unprecedented and say, Jennifer Holliday is asking people for suggestions of what she should do next. But I really do. I think that I'm having a time of my life in these 60s, but I also, if I'm going to, perform, well until, whatever age that God allows me to stay here, if it's my 80s or whatever. And so what should it be? What kind of music? I had a new song that I released, So You in Love. People really responded to that. So I do know that I should record new music and they'll respond and they'll support that. So I'm working on that now of how to get a new album together and make a full EP. I only released the one single. So I've gotten that response. So now I'm trying to get the response of where do you see your Jennifer? What would you like me to do and what kind of things? So I'm hoping to get a better sense of that from them.
Is MAME a dream role of yours?
MAME is a dream world. I just love that. I love it, and I think it's one of the few that I could do in the sense that since the children, aren't MAMEs, that it could be a diverse cast, multiracial cast, and everything. But it is one of my favorites, and then my favorite song, Where's the Boy with the Bugle? That's one of my, if he walked into my life today, oh my God. It's one of my favorite songs. And just, I don't know. I just think that I would need a great director, of course. I'm still, I don't like to venture out on my own. I like to get people to help me develop something. I don't have like, okay, well, I'm directing myself. No, I like to be directed. I've had two, great directors, and so I like to be directed. So
you would be an incredible May.
Thank you.
An incredible May. Maybe he walked into my life.
Yeah.
54 Below. Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe.
Who knows? Just so you know, Jennifer Holliday will be here at 54 Below as part of their incredible Diamond series from February 21st through the 26th. Just go to 54below.com for tickets and be there. It's going to be a spectacular time.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you there.
Mountain high, and if I lost you, would I cry? How I love you, baby, 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 baby. River deep, mountain high. You gotta believe it. You gotta believe it. That if I lost you, I would cry. How I love you, baby, 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 baby.